Welcome all of you to another exciting edition of the Focus show right here on Sharobutu TV. My name is Abdallah Shamon Bako. Empowerment is what everyone needs to be involved, motivated, and inspired. Youth empowerment, to begin with, is what we need in order to uplift the spirit of our youth and the Muslims and the Zongo community at large. Today, we're talking about all of that. Youth empowerment, the case study of Zongo and Muslim communities in Ghana. To help us digest the issue and to give perspective into the issue, we have one of our revered youngsters, a chief, especially for the Zongo and Muslim community at large. I'm talking about Youth Chief of the Hausa community, Greater Accra, Sarki Ali Salisu Mode. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, my dear brother Shamon.
You are a very fine person, I mean, in terms of academia and what have you. So for us to get into what we're going to talk about today, let me delve into you. I mean, Salisu Mode, who are you to begin with? Let's talk about a little bit of that. Give us a bit of background.
You rightfully said, my name is Salisu Mode. I was the first child of my mother and my father. And then my mother is Hajia Haula Kadri in English. And my father is the late Alhaji Muhammad Sagir Maude, both of Agege, Zaria, and Kano fame. He had a brief stint in Ghana. His father was in Ghana, and he was trading kola around the Kwawu-Prasu areas. Commodity in demand of that era. So that's it. So I was born in the late 70s, had my primary education, started off at Lamte Mills, then off to Elta International, then to New Hope School. I've been around. After New Hope School, I did Bishop Mix. From there to Adisadel College, straight to England, where I had my tertiary education, and then I got back. And then I've been in business and entrepreneurship and social development as well.
Having established that, now let's get into the nitty-gritty. I mean, we're going to talk about youth empowerment. To empower youth in our setting, we need to identify the challenges facing the youth. What would you say to that? What are the challenges facing the Muslims and the Zongo youth?
Well, I think in perspective, the challenges are not really peculiar to the Zongo youth. Universally, you know, the youthful years are one of the most troubling years, for example, to start off with, and then you come post-teen, and then with all its problems. So these are one of the most, how do I put it, for the want of a better word, these are one of the most accident-prone era up in between your childhood and adulthood. So it comes with a lot of problems that we see in our various homes. But ours is unique, especially those from the Zongo communities, because of the socio-economic environment that we found ourselves in. So the problems become other communities have to do to uplift their youth from that sort of hole requires normally twice the effort from the Zongo communities.
Let's do it this way. In order not to, put it in a box, let's and divide them. Let's talk about education. What are challenges? In
I've
education?
always, you see, I've always mentioned that when it comes to formal education, the Zongo or the Muslim community were pioneers
Mashallah.
in this. I've always mentioned this, but people have had difficulty understanding. When I say formal education, education was first established from our Makaranta systems, which was the Zawri, where you get people to go and learn Arabic, Alif, Ba, Tau, Saw. People were learning in Ajami, people were learning how to recite the Quran and memorize it. When you are done, you do leaflets like your, what do you call it, the compendium, Ashmawi, Iziya, Risala, and all that. People, you learn your hadith, Arba'una hadith and all of that. So when it comes to what looks like formal education, it has been the Zongo communities or the Muslim communities at the forefront of this. Then we had, let's say, the influx of Western education, what we call Western. And then we were slow in catching up to that, embracing it. There were only a few people who got themselves into it. Initially, people were even hooted at for doing that. But we scaled that. So we had first generation people, I can mention a few offered, who had tertiary education. Then it came down to some of our grandfathers who had education up to the tertiary level. So when you look at proportionately on the national scene, even though the numbers were not there, we had people from the Zongo communities who had tertiary education up to that level. So when we caught up, by the time it got to our parents and it got to us, even though the numbers were not that encouraging, we had a lot of people in the academic setup.
Are we satisfied with the results?
Of course not.
A lot of the youngsters are entering into education, formal education, the Western education to begin.
Yes. We've made a lot of strides to take a political slogan. A lot has been achieved. A lot more needs to be done. I mean, when it comes to that, we are not very satisfied because we see most of our kids now being discouraged. So there was that era where a lot of students, the whole thing was to go to school, get the necessary education and qualification. And then suddenly, in the past 20 years or so, we saw an uprising, not only truancy, but people dropping out of their education, academia altogether, and then people going into all sorts of trade and what we have nowadays, which is what they call the scamming, what you call the 419. People have gone in and then they have seen society has sort of accepted them. And so it has become, look, you know what, why should I even go and study if at the end of the day what I want is money, I can get it by engaging in these activities. So there's been a deterrent, and that is exactly what we are looking at to correct.
Let's look at employment, and this has to do with the fact that if you couldn't have a formal education, of course you're talented, you're skilled enough to be involved in some sort of some learning, trade, or make up your mind. I mean, do you think that the community in which we live is encouraging youngsters enough to not sit idle and be able to have themselves something to do?
Well, not at all. Generally, you see, the point has always been that when it comes to the Zongo communities, you see our mothers who will always cook you some tuwo, trade tuwo, shinkafa, rice, and stew, YK, all these best joints, tuwo joints, rice joints, jollof joints, you name it, masa. We had the business, we had the trade, this grain, we had those businesses. We had our parents, our mothers and our grandmothers and our forebears. They were heavily engaged in this trade. But at some point, we lost it. We were not even picking up the businesses from where they left it off to advance it. So now, even though we had Burkina and all of that, someone is really packaging it and selling it. Nemi Jingoro, which was a pre-serve of it. Now look at it being packaged and being sold as medicinal.
I mean,
can you imagine what did we do to add value to these things and pick it up to the next level? We just left it off. Our parents would do that and they'll say, no, we want our children to be doctors. Now, not everyone gets to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. If they want to be entrepreneurs, pick up your parents' trade. You have something already established, pick it up and then work on it. There's no shame in the hustle. And then we've done so much in community to discourage people from picking up honorable professions like teaching, for example. This is very honorable, but then people look down on this. And maybe it doesn't put much on the table, but there's a lot of joy in it when you do and you do it well. You teach a lot of people. So I think we need to go back to basics. We need to start respecting professions. We need to start carpentry. We need to start all these vocational. We need to give them some level of respect. And if it is gratifying enough for them to engage in these sort of activities, I think they'll do it. By and large, it has been society that has put a lot of pressure on our youth. So the Zongo community too, like we also say, or those people who are making strides in this field, they don't come up and tell their stories. So the next person you see on the street, for example, is someone driving a car. You don't know how he got his car. All you hear is that, oh, Yana Sakawa. You also want to do that.
And the community celebrate that.
And he's been accepted, like I said. So what can you do?
The big problem, drug addiction. I mean, syrups become an addiction. You know, youngsters all across the communities either into these drugs or are doing something else. I mean, what is the problem? Initially, we didn't have these issues. It's an inception.
It's the breakdown of the family system. You know, our system back in the days. I remember growing up. We used to get one family. We just ask if you were dewormed. One house would just call all of you and deworm you. Now that thing is not there. You used to get your punishment not even from your parents, from members of the community. Everybody was on the lookout for what other person's child was doing. The child belonged to the community, not necessarily the parents. But if you look around these days, you don't even have that. Shamun, you cannot even scold a misbehaving child.
Definitely.
You'll be done for abuse. All these things are happening into our system. That system is gradually, we moved from a very extended communal-based stuff to now being nuclear and very limited. So it's the breakdown of the family systems by and large. And then, like I also said, lack of mentorship. You know, people are not there to help guide the youth. Now, you see, if you're not there, sometimes the youth get fed up from their parents. I mean, you need a third party, a third force that the kids can look up to and go like, well, look up to Shamun, I can look up to Salisu Maude, I can look up to Rabiu Maude. Something is there for me, but they are not there anymore. You see, a few of us who have been able to do something with our lives, then we tend to run away from our community. We don't want
what do you think is the problem? Because a lot of the time you hear people saying that when you made it, which gave you the very essence of life. I mean,
well, I don't want to say. You see, some people generally are naturally not inclined towards getting, coming back to give back to their society. They are okay, you know, with themselves. It's not that they don't want to do it, but they don't really want to bother themselves. So they are not really, I have to do, it's none of my business if someone is not doing. But it must be your business, because you get to key decision-making tables, and then when you turn around, there are a lot of people there from different communities, and then when you realize you are the only person from your community, there is no one to support you. So if you go and acquire a skill or a knowledge, if you don't bring it back to your community, developed. I mean, I know people who have managed to put together the whole village's cocoa farm money to sponsor one person to go and acquire a lot of knowledge. And then when they come back, they tell you, look, you know what? Before you leave that place, you must make sure 5 people from this village are there. I think by and large, we do not have a central decision-making body for us.
Then who has failed us? Is it you, the chiefs, or the community itself is not putting systems to sort of address.
You see, it's a mixed pot, Piri, and then you see, what I would say is that in order for your leaders to be effective, you also must be ready to succumb. Okay. So what you need is that, are you ready to take directions from your leaders?
So you think a lot of the youth are not willing to succumb or sort of submit themselves?
Yes, it's true. I mean, typical examples in our community. You see the bitter rivalry, the pull him down, the fighting. This person is not the only person who. I keep saying, and this takes me back to the point. The national chief imam that we have today is an embodiment of everything Zongo and Islam.
Definitely.
It's not for anything that we do not criticize him publicly, even if we do not agree with all of his decisions. We have to be very careful with what we say. We have a duty to protect the dignity and sanctity of that office, because at the end of the day, that is all you have.
Definitely.
If you drag it in the mud, you take it to the gutters, what do you gain? But you lose a lot. But if you protect it and defend it, you can always come back to it and use it as a platform to implement whatever policies or changes that you would want to see. I think if we do not give it to somebody like this by the mere facts of his position, we should give it even for his age. We should give it for his age. I mean, as long as I can remember, this is someone who has lived with my grandfathers, and then he dealt with my fathers, and now he's dealing with me. Possibly teaching. I mean, I can advise or counsel if he solicits for it, but I should follow him, right or wrong. And I'm not afraid of saying this.
So in general, what you're saying is the influx of youngsters and youth using the social media and insulting leaders,
and they don't even have a respect for hierarchy. I mean, every society that doesn't respect hierarchy, I mean, come on, it's not a society. It's not even.
So that is some of the pain of the problem.
That is one of our problems. So that's why I said a lot of feudal differences, fights here and there. We are not able to collectively identify one leader and do that wholeheartedly. If we say we are doing Chief Imam as the center of everything Muslim and Zongo in this country, let's do it. So we get all the chiefs. I mean, he's done very well, like I said, bringing all the chiefs together, all decision make in his own little way. Let's give him the necessary support. Let's not denigrate the office. So if you have someone who happens to be a chief, don't denigrate him. I mean, we are not saying they are saints. They're humans, but
some of especially the chiefs. I mean, you're supposed to be the whip of the community, but it seems you consider your job as being compromised, so to speak. I mean,
okay, but you see, the point here is that, have you set up any Baitul Mal that you give to these leaders, that you hold them accountable to? And generally speaking, those
the resources to help shape the communities, the youth in general.
Those criticizing, have they truly subjected themselves to the leadership in question? Very often when you look at that, they have not. So if you have subjected yourself to me, Shamoun, if you have said that, I hold it up to you to do this and that, when I goof, you have every right to come at me, to criticize me, or to, even the Quran and the Hadith have provided avenues for us to make our grievances or disagreements. No, do we even follow these things? We don't in the first place. So you know what? Let's not be like the ostrich. Ourselves to their leadership, then we have every right. But majority of the people that you see, they've not really subjected themselves to somebody's leadership, and then they believe they have the right to criticize.
Do we have enough initiative to elevate or support the Zongo youth? I mean, mention some of them. You've championed a couple of them.
Look, I think with the generation of youth that we have now, you know, I mean, you can't but just marvel. I mean, the you know, just to mention a few, you know, what the likes of Mahmoud Jaja,
Initiative for
Rabi
Youth Development,
Maudi, with the
Zongo Inspiration
ZIT,
Team, yes.
Asma, Fatima
Focus,
Zara,
Raiwa
Zico,
Foundation, exactly.
you know, all these people, your own Mazi Okoro, and a lot of boys, Zekiyu, Sabit, you know, all these boys doing things, you know, people who are creating a certain niche. You know, I'll mention Salim Ango in politics, Mustafa Hamid, our own Mustafa Hamid. We have the youngsters coming, you know, Sadiq Abdullahi Abu in entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Across
the
the
names,
country.
they are just numerous. You just
Everybody's
mentioned. So you
trying.
see, there is some
So we are integrating ourselves in our
awakening. I am calling it by these people. So you see, it would just bloom. It would just, you just see it coming up. It would just mushroom. Because the pace at which this information or these programs are getting down, you marvel. I mean, it was just started by individuals, and then collectively they have found a purpose. They are helping each other. They complement each other here and there. They all come. If there's a program, you see the same faces around. That determination is there. We can only support and pray for them. And then within the next 5-10 years, we should have our people being a part of the key policy makers of this country. We are not too far from them.
Of course, we are not too far from, but we can also shy away from prevailing challenges. And in order to get there, we have to be all inclusive and conclusive in this. And what I mean is that in as much as the youth are doing things to elevate themselves, on the other hand, you realize that others should also be given a helping hand. You go to a community, you realize that only a few handful of people are into the formal education, or perhaps are into a gainful employment, and the rest are wandering. I mean, we talk about, I mentioned drug earlier, talk about robbery, you talk about all of. As much as we're praising these youngsters who are doing a great job, these ones, what do we do with them?
You see, like every society, like I always say, there will always be these challenges. What we try to do is to minimize them, to educate, and then to inspire, to encourage. So acquired knowledge up to a certain level. Don't necessarily go and work in a bank, in an energy firm. You do, if you have any vocations, do it. If you're not finding the job, create one. You can be a businessman.
Entrepreneurship.
Why not? Start selling. I saw someone who was well dressed in Abuja and all, was selling goro.
In a suit,
Yes,
selling goro?
on the street. He puts food on the table. You don't know. Typical example is that I remember 5 years ago, I supported a woman selling banana. Her entire capital was 40 Ghana cedis. And then she makes a profit of 60 Ghana cedis a day with that 40 Ghana cedis. She buys bananas worth of 40 Ghana cedis. She sells them for 100 cedis. And then she gets to keep 60 cedis a day. She uses 20 cedis to feed her family. Her husband takes care of some of the bills. And then she's able to save 40 cedis. How much is that a month? That's 1,200.
Exactly.
How many people work and get paid 1,200? And she only works between the hours of 5 a.m. to maximum 11 and 12. She's done. But if you don't try it, you wouldn't know. If you don't try trading, selling, to be making the 1 cedis, 1 cedis, 1 cedis. So when you shift 50 units, 1 cedi, 50 units, you're making 50 cedis.
Exactly.
People don't look at this.
You said they don't look. A lot of people they don't even know. I mean, these things you're talking about.
So
how do we do we get them
see,
involved?
So the point is that anytime we are having these programs, entrepreneurship, and we send out invitations, we are getting people to come. They don't. And then the platforms that you get, which are your normally maulids, your marriage ceremonies, every platform that I get, and I happen to be the chairman or I'm given the opportunity to share a word or two, I raise these issues. I call people, look, let's have that saving culture. You know, let's think modern. Let's go into insurance. What is our ulama saying about savings? What is our ulama saying about borrowing? We should be able to define that. Certain matured Islamic economies like Malaysia, Indonesia, they have a lot of models that we can use to help ourselves and develop our economy more. People should go into entrepreneurship, trade, businesses. They can do it. Create your own employment. Don't always sit back and say you're waiting for someone to create an employment opportunity for you to be employed. No. If there is that chance, start something. And people will say, oh, and I don't have the capital. That's being lazy. How much capital do you need? I've just confirmed to you that somebody needed 40 cedis capital. Maybe in today's economy, it's not 40 cedis, it's 200 cedis. You can do menial works for 200 cedis, raise the capital, and then you start off whatever it is. We're in this country where when people from different communities were coming into Accra to sell dog chains. Shoe shine first, and then they move to dog chains. Before you realize they're traveling to China with as little as $2,000 capital, importing things to sell quickly, or they'll go to Togo and Nigeria. Before you realize they are owners of shops. Before you realize they are owners of big companies. So what are we doing? You need to start small, build it up, invest. Now, what I have seen in our communities is that a lot of the communities now, the youth in the communities, are into livestock breeding. And that I applaud. People are rearing cattle, sheep, and selling them for beef. Beautiful. You see people going to get lean cattle and then they bring them on board to fatten them and then sell them off to butchers. Solid. Somebody comes in, look at how to develop the feed, to feed the animals. You develop the feed, you sell them off, you fatten the animals with the feed. That's money. Somebody looks at how to take their excrements, you know what it does. Cow dungs are good for fertilizer.
Exactly.
There are openings there, a lot of openings. Value on the skin instead of consuming the skin, the leather. How do we set up a tannery to deal with these things? The opportunities are there, but are we really tapping into it?
How do we tap into it?
That's why I said we have is the enlightenment, inform, get people we are doing to help.
Exactly.
Somebody may be watching, listening. So this is what we are saying to you. There are opportunities abound here. If you want to go into some sort of business, look at packaging, repackaging your food, look at storage, then look at how to, add value on whatever it is you're doing. Look at fertilizers. Let's look at our communities first. What sort of economic activities do we have thriving? Have a hold on them. You can name them. We used to control the tanneries.
Exactly.
We used to control the carvings. We used to control all these businesses. Where are they now? They are not there. We used to control even the food bars. Where are they now? What values are we adding? Have we moved it up to the restaurant level? No. Butchery, we used to control. Exactly. What have we been able to do? So look at it. Opportunities right here. But then I'll tell you that there are opportunities, but we don't really open our eyes to the opportunities surrounding us.
We have to open our eyes to benefit from the opportunities surrounding us. We're speaking with Sarki Salisu Alimo, the Youth Chief, Sarkin Samari, Ankara Hausa community. He's the one we're talking about. I mean, he's a fine president. Just as he mentioned, we could go all the way talking. But these opportunities and how to maximize them within the community. And of course, the influx of, you see a lot of people are becoming chiefs these days. I mean, how do we also, and do they even use their chieftaincy title to get opportunities for their people? We're going to talk about all of that. You can, your comments are welcome via our comment box, and you can send them chief patron is Alhaji Malik Amir Faila UK. He is the one supporting, and of course, if you want to sponsor or support this program,
Alhaji Malik Amir of Faila in the UK. Oh, that's my very good, my very good uncle. Yes, I mean they were one of my mentors in the UK, and they did very well. You see, I applaud them. There was a community when they came, but they came together and they lifted up to another level. So these are the people that they have really contributed a lot in the development of Muslims, especially from the Ghanaian community and the Nigerian community in the UK. I will use this opportunity to applaud them. Yeah.
Of course, thank you. Chief Patron Alhaji Malik Amir Faila UK. You can call on this number if you want to support or sponsor, or you want to have a discussion with us, 0241 989 786, 0241 989 786, or 0592 889067, 0592 889067. Call us, and then we're talking. We're still here with Sarki Salisu Mode. I mean, somebody is just texting me that you speak very fine English. I mean, you know, Hausa person speaking fine English. Somebody saying that he's really impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You schooled in UK, so you speak the King language very well.
Most of my English was acquired in Adisado College.
In Ghana here. So just as I mentioned, you're a youth chief, and we've seen the influx of chieftaincy. You know, a lot of the time you see this installation of chiefs and all of that, skimming and all of that. And we see little to what they add up to the growth of the youth or the communities. I mean, is the chieftaincy avenue to support just ceremonial? I mean, a lot of the youngsters see it's ceremonial because they don't see what you do for the community, for them as well.
You see, to be a chief is to serve. See, so I have been fortunate to have come from a family that has a long history of service to their community. So it came naturally to me. So to me, being a chief or a leader is an opportunity to serve your community and your people. That is my understanding. I don't know what someone else thinks about.
Are we serving enough? Are we serving?
Of course we are serving. Because the time that I am spending here doing this work, I could invest this time in my business to get money to feed my family, or to make life better for myself and my immediate family. But I am here sharing that experience. Most people may not value this, but in reality, I am serving. So people have different ways of serving. The fact that I do not necessarily have the financial backing, I don't have the power to collect taxes and apply it. I do not have the power to collect zakat and apply it in a certain way. Doesn't necessarily mean that I am not in my own little. People do things, philanthropic things, and they do not want people to know. So it's very difficult to measure what people are doing in that regard. But the ones that you see is the organization of symposia, you know, inspiring, doing stuff, holding seminars, by and large. So if we have all these people coming into the field to do this, there's nothing to worry about. But what we have seen in the past couple of years is that people are aiming for the grace and glory, supposedly. They think if you're called a chief, then it automatically elevates your social status. Is that the case really? Is the work that you put in that would elevate your social status? So if I'm a chief, for example, and I don't do anything, it will be pretty obvious to the people. Am I adding value, or I'm taking something away? What we have realized is that we have had stories of chiefs coming up who are using their chieftaincy, who are abusing the whole setup. I mean, you can have this in the communities, but it's up to the people of the community to name and shame. once they do that, it will discourage people from using these platforms for what have imams and everywhere, people doing that work, solid works, beautiful work in the name of God. Then you have also people scamming people in the name of God. The same applies to this field of ours as well. So you have people doing the genuine work, and you have people leeching off that work to make a name for themselves or to feed their own selfish agendas and egos. So they're there, but I think by and large, people are doing very well. We don't normally appreciate the work of our chiefs, but if you spend some time with them, you know that they're doing a lot.
I think it's just as you made. I remembered I went with Sarki Umaru Baba Isa, who happens to be the PRO of the Council of Zongo Chiefs. We went some rounds, and there was this, acres of land they acquired. Purpose for the construction of school and all of that. So we went around, we spent the whole day. Just as we were leaving, he mentioned that because when I can read you, when I said, "How can I miss you?" Kaza. Exactly.
I'll be there, and then because of my proximity to Sarkin House, Alhaji Muhammad Kabir Kadir English, I have seen the sort of passion he has for youth development, for his community. Every time you sit with them, it is more to do with, look, what then are we doing? Do we have an educational complex? What is our plan? Are we going to do this? Are we emulating the National Chief Imam? Okay, the National Chief Imam has done his mosque and everything, his endowment fund is there. What are we doing to complement that? Exactly. We're looking at setting up a library. We're looking at setting up a place, what we call a community center. These are all part of his plans. And he shares it with us. He goes like, you know what, let's have a community center where everybody can walk in. So if you're a youth in a certain community and you know we have a community center, we have volunteers, we have 2 people who will come in twice in a week to sit behind the desk. Bring any problem you want to bring. And then we'll channel it to the right person. If we can be of help there and then. So let's say if we have JS people going to write their exams and they have problems in choosing what secondary school, what courses they should pursue, these city centers we call them the guidance and counseling section of those city centers. We'll be advising our youth and preparing them for economic development of our country.
Do you encourage the youth to go into politics? I mean,
of course, because if you realize politics is where the power is now. Okay. Our forebears have always played active role politically in this country. Like I was saying a few days ago on a Clubhouse platform, one of the social platforms that has been built by, and then we had a lot of youth there, brimming ideas. This youth can make your brain run 100 miles and come back if you're not prepared. So ideas were exchanged there. So they should be involved politically. We should move away from, we can do the grassroots politics, but we should move away from the taggery. Okay. Get yourself involved in the executive positions. Get yourself involved in the MPship. Get yourself at the highest level. Nothing should prevent you from aspiring to be the president of the Republic of Ghana. But of course you would need the support of your community to propel you. And we have the numbers.
We do?
Of course. Why? What makes you think we don't?
I want you to make me believe that we have.
How many Zongos do you think we have in Ghana? Off the top of your head, even in Accra, how many Zongos do you think we have?
Zongos in Accra will be more than 300.
Okay. So, how many polling stations do you think we have there? In all these Zongos?
Countless.
I was having an analysis with a friend of mine just yesterday, and he tells me the green seats, the green Zongo seats that he thinks we can comfortably win are not less than 12 nationally. And then he zoned them into yellow seats as well, where we can go into alliance with either party to also win that seat. And then we have the red ones,
where our chances of winning are just, but we have enough numbers to train. So once we start doing this, and we get our people to even contest elections, there's nothing wrong in losing an election. You only position yourself well. People are scared to even contest elections. There's a lot of honor. You know, my brother Balami can come contest, and today he's still called honorable.
No, he's now the acting chairman of the party.
That's why I'm telling you that he started off as and he still gets called honorable.
Exactly. He's the acting chairman of the party right now. Yes, the acting chairman of the party. Yeah.
So he started off somewhere, and he's somewhere now. Start off somewhere, but grow. Don't stay at
how do we protect?
Don't do stay at protecting ballot boxes. You also trade.
Okay.
Next time I want to be my what do we call it? Not constituency. They call it ward. You become the ward chairman, ward executive. From there you move up to branch. From there you move up to what do you call it? Constituency. From there you move up to regional. From there you move up to national, and the sky is the limit. Just don't get deterred. Be inspired.
Are we inspired enough by the politicians we have in our community?
Of course.
Honorable Muntakam Barak, Leah Jamal.
Of course. You see,
they're doing incredibly well.
The generation will come at some point and contribute their quota and exit the stage. And then there are different eras and different needs. These people have come from a certain era. They have contributed. Should they exit, we will have people who should replace them, who should be of this era too. And contributing their
Are we preparing?
We have
Zongo
them.
youth enough,
We have them. They are all over.
They are ready now.
Yusuf Jaja just emerged recently,
Exactly.
and then, like I mentioned earlier on, Ablekuma Central. I have a potential in Salim and my own sister Saada, who can even come and equally do what people are doing. This particular constituency, I don't know what this constituency is called. Ablekuma, is it Ablekuma North? This is not Ablekuma South. I'm sure this is Okainkwe South.
Central, right?
Central.
Okainkwe South,
Baba, we can support Baba Sadiq to go.
Yeah, Baba Sadiq, he's
And I mean, are you telling me that Baba Sadiq is not an MP material? We have all of them. Shaboon, you're here. Should you decide to choose any constituency, we should all rally and support you to get you there. I mean, you can provide the goods. What does it take to be an MP?
Exactly. Of course,
I think we are inspired. So,
gone through the education.
To add on to this, you see, let's have a coordinated effort as a community. We are so disintegrated. The effort should be made at having a coordinated, coordinated front. Let's a united front, but let's coordinate all our efforts and bring them into a united.
Do you think we were ready to coordinate? I mean, we're so divided. Religion and
it's true, even politically we are divided. But I mean, if we put in the effort, we can do that. You see, why should I should be able to understand that this is purely politics. I shouldn't hate you beyond you joining MPP and me being NDC. I should be able to understand that what we are doing is politics. And after that, we should have the interest of the Zongo at heart. So if you're doing MPP and I'm doing NDC, if we are all going to bring whatever good we are making of politics to the community, and we might as well just do that, and then we make sure we are also being recognized rightfully in the political space of the country.
We'll be wrapping up pretty soon. I mean, I think we've touched base on most of the issues. We've touched base on education opportunities, drug addiction, and all of it. So let's box everything up. We're talking about youth empowerment, and you speak to a lot of the youth, you realize that there's some sort of wanting to achieve and to get more. And the certain, the communities in which we live, the opportunities not see or have an understanding how they can get out of that, be able to be better off in terms of what is out there in Ghana to say. How do we, put our resources together to ensure that we have a formidable force in ensuring that the youth, they can lead tomorrow?
I have always said that it's a lazy way of thinking to say that, look, there are no jobs. I've done everything I can and there are no jobs in the country. Start your own job. I mean, I'll go back to that.
You start and there's no future. You don't see anything. I mean, you start some job.
How do you not see anything? Human being naturally is a survivor. Had someone hungry to the extent that they died, or I have never had someone work to the extent that they've not made anything out of their work. I have never heard this before. Like we all know, business is about profit and loss. You may lose today. Then you ask yourself, what am I doing that is so wrong? And change it. We have had our ups and downs in businesses. We often do not talk about the downsides and what we have been through, but we have had reasons to come out of that hole. Mm-hmm. It's so scary. It's scary to sit down and not do anything. You don't have an option. You must survive because people are looking up to you.
You must survive.
You must survive. You must work. And it will pay. It pays off. If you work, it will pay. It pays off. Find something doing. Master it over a period of time. You don't just wake up 1 month, 2 months, and just be on top of your game.
A lot of the youngsters want to be rich overnight.
No. You start from some point. You start from making 10 CDs, then you move up to making 20 CDs, then you move up to making 30 CDs. You grow with the wealth. That's why a lot of people have money, sudden money, and the quick they come, the quick they go. Because you didn't grow with the money. But if you grow from 20 to 40 to 50 to 100 to 100,000 to 1 million, naturally you get acclimed. I mean,
acquainted with the whole system.
Yes, and you understand it. But if you move from 10 to 1 million, it shakes you off a little. You become confused. It's natural. And then your fingers are all bent. So I think tread cautiously, invest wisely, and eventually you become wealthy.
You're a married man. I want to say this, youngsters and relationship, love and all of that. I mean, how do we ensure that we don't lose balance in terms of relationship with the opposite sex and establish something? Because a lot of the time it's an issue there. A lot of youngsters get strayed away and get confused, and sometimes in terms of marriage,
well, if you're old enough to be in love with a member of the opposite sex, then you're old enough to marry. And marrying is not such a bad thing. I mean, you can marry. I mean, it keeps your feet down. When I look at my wife, I mean, I'm not saying this to how do I put it, to those who do not have wives, I'm not saying, I mean, I'm saying this with all humility. You look at your wife and your kids and you feel like, well, you know what, I really have to work hard to make them happy. So if you're old enough to fall in love, then you're old enough to marry.
Does marriage shifts?
Of course it does. No, of course. There's no way about that. I mean, you grow. See, every experience you have contributes to your growth. Marriage teaches you a lot of things.
Should the youth have more money before they go into marriage?
They should have enough money to cater. Not more money, but they should have enough. I mean, to live within their limits. I mean, if you're married to a woman who knows these are your limits, then I think she will be okay with your limits.
Young girls who are educated, and to some extent they think if young girls educated, marriage becomes a problem. She doesn't even want to get married.
How can the community not be happy? I mean, how can the community not be happy with educating young girls. There's absolutely nothing wrong with. I am all for the girl child education. You see the contribution they give. Now, we all know that you are helping to build the future of your kids. I mean, how many hours do we spend with our kids? How many hours do their mothers spend with them? It's pretty obvious if you have a mother who is educated. I mean, your kid naturally is halfway through. So why shouldn't we educate them? You need to up your game. Stand an educated woman. She doesn't come cheap.
We talked about parenting. I mean, for a person to be, good and to be disciplined, some sort of work should be from parenting. I mean, exactly. Are we doing enough in terms of parenting in the communities?
And you see, like, we are one of the communities that have had the Quran and the Hadith and the Sunnah. In the Prophet categorically, Islam is a way of life. How to raise your child is categorically stated. And you see, every Friday we listen to khutbahs. Every Ramadan of the Quran, teaching us how to live our life with our children. Why then do we find ourselves wondering? Is it because we do not listen? Is it because we do not believe in the words of the Quran? But we have it to guide us. I mean, your children are a responsibility unto you. You will be questioned as to how you raise them. They have been given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You go and account for it. Educate them. Raise them, nurture them, teach them the way, teach them the deen.
A lot of the parents neglect these roles and they leave these youngsters to the mercy of the community. Streetism is on the rise. You have beggars across
if you
country.
If you cannot nurture or raise a child, you have no business raising a child. I mean, a lot of people have hated me for saying this, but I'll say it. Children should not only be byproducts of your pleasure. You should be ready. If you want to have children, you should be ready to take care of them and show them the way. It's your responsibility. I mean, this is where I call on society and community to have a look at that, because you know the dangers of children who are orphaned if they miss their parents and then they see you treating your children well. They grow with a certain notion. You may not have peace later on in life. I remember a hadith that was narrated. I don't know the chain, but the Prophet ﷺ once had. I mean, this was one of my favorite hadith. And then he came and he saw his son playing in the midst of other kids, and he wanted to go for his son, and he sought for permission from the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet asked him to wait. Don't go for your child now. He came again and he was like, wait. He came for the third time and he was like, wait. The fourth time he was like, you may go for your child. Just as the man was leaving, he called him again and he said, oh, when you go there, make sure you call him by his name, but don't call him with my son, because he's playing with orphans. So the reason the Prophet ﷺ delayed was that the other orphans get to play with other kids and then they feel normal. And when their parents come, they were not calling them, oh, my dear son, somebody come and let's go. That way they miss their parents. So it's a responsibility of the community to look out for the orphans too. If you're raising your kids very well and you have an opportunity or a space to pick up one orphan, bring them to your home. Raise them like yours.
Talking of orphans, I don't know whether you've seen it quite recently, the influx of these young kids, females, who are begging on the streets of Accra. They speak our language. Not necessarily are they Ghanaian, but they speak the language. You ask them, they will tell you they are from Niger, Chad, Nigeria, and they were being brought by somebody, and it's more like a syndicate. People, they brought them here, they make money out of them, and they leave them to the mercy of the streets. I mean, what should we be doing?
It's a shame. You see, these things, we we went into it a little and we realized that it was a bigger problem than we thought it was. See, there are protocols, there are ECOWAS protocols and the movement of people. You see, there's been instances where government has tried to evacuate some of them back, and then the next day they followed the next car down to the streets of Accra. You know, movement of people in the ECOWAS sub-region. I mean, this thing comes. They are not from our community, even though they are Muslims. So like I said, our communities have suffered most, first and foremost, from rural-urban migration. And then secondly, from a regional migration as well. So because our communities are one of the lowest in the social order, the first point of call that people can integrate or assimilate is our community. And we suffer a lot because of this. But I think this is even bigger than us. You know, government has to take this issue seriously, and then they need to tackle it head on. I mean, we need to strengthen our borders, and then we need to know for what reason people are coming in. And then we should find the culprits, because this is a cartel.
Exactly.
Those people you see on the streets are not my worry stems even from the fact that I hope they are not being enslaved. They are working for something. That is my worry, because human beings naturally will move to places they feel they can have a better life.
Right, exactly.
We don't fault them for that, but we must pursue heads of this cartel and punish them accordingly to serve as a deterrence for someone who is trying to bring or who is trying to take this path. I mean, this is what I think should be done. Other than that, like I said, humans naturally will move to places they feel they can have a better
I think
life.
with a lot of the young people into frauds and drugs and all of that. I mean, how do you curtail this situation?
No, you know, education. I mean, what do you get from drugs apart from the fact that it would destroy you? And to those engaged in frauds, I'm like, you have the talent. Why not? So build up the IT. We have a young guy, you know, Lantam, you know him. He set up, you know, and it's easy to go and scam somebody. But you know what? Just as you have become successful and you also want to enjoy your wealth, somebody, a hungrier youth, will also come to scam you. So be forewarned. That's all I can say. Yes, it's karma. It will come back and bite you, naturally. So, I mean, when you live right, you will enjoy it.
I wish we could go on and on, but we just let me do this.
We've not read messages.
Yes, the messages aren't coming that much, but I'm sure my producers will get me some info as far as the messages are concerned. And just as I was saying, you can call these numbers: 0241 989 786, 0241 989 786, 059 288 9067, 059 288 9067. My producers will get me the messages, and then if they are ready, we'll read them live and we share them with the people who are here. We will to read them out to the people. Let me see. Our producers will be feeding me with the info, and in the meantime, let me do this. Okay, the messages. I think we have this one. It said, Allah Temaka Al Haji Malik Amir Faila. Ask questions on the comment sections. Okay, I'm watching you live from Kaswa. I'm watching you live from Germany, Switzerland. And this one is Muhammad Al Hassan. MashaAllah. May Allah continue to bless us with good health, long life, more ages, and stress-free life. This is an important topic, and we hope that our youth are listening and watching. Thank you. We have this one, Muhammad Awal Maisuna Mende. MashaAllah, that's my chief. I respect you for this topic. I'm trunging your questions, and then we shall read them. We are now 1,760 viewership. People, yes, 1,760. So it's a big platform. I mean, we'll talk more about these things if we do have time, but time will not permit us. So let's wrap it up. What should be your achievement as far as the role you play of the youth chief, and someday that you get older, how do you wish to be remembered for?
You see, initially I started this work because, like I told you, I found myself in a long line of service givers. Then as I keep adding on to the years, just feel like, you know what, you're doing well, but you cannot inspire 10 or 20 people to be doing as you are doing. And that is when you become a very good leader. And then if you're not there, they'll be able to say that, look, these people were inspired by this. People you have inspired in numerous ways are there, and then people you've encouraged, people you have supported. When you sit back and you see them contributing positively to the development of your community, then you can sit back and say, oh, you have indeed done your possible or humanly best. But this is what I want to see. Like I said, the whole plan is to have people from the Zongo communities being a part of the key policy making bodies of this country, or decision making of this country. And from the Zongo community becoming the president of this country. And if I'm able to play a part in that, then that would really be my icing on the cake.
Let's wait for the icing on the cake. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We do really appreciate it. I've been speaking to Sarki Salisu Ali Mode, community. Before I wrap up, let me just read a few comments and then we'll just wrap it up. Okay. Okay, the network sometime. Okay, my producers, if you can here. If I could get some of the messages and we read them before we were about 1,800 now, 1,800. I'm sure before tomorrow we should be with this one. Mahmoud Jaja, great conversation. May Mataba is our mentor and role model. May Allah continue to bless and guide him. Mahmoud Jaja, of course, you do know him.
He's doing a wonderful job. Mahmoud is doing a wonderful job.
And we have Honorable Isa Sani. May Allah bless you. And to support this program we mentioned, you can call this number 024-1989-786-0592-889-067. And of course, thanks to Chief Patron Alhaji Malik Amir of Faila UK. I want to say thank you for joining us and watching. My name is Abdullah Shamoun Bako. Until we meet next week, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.